2021. Westbrook defending. Beverly's over there too, but he still got it. 7 points. Leonard, long shot, got it. And there's no problem scoring.
So I was thumbing through a few sites and, I came across Sports Illustrated, one of the sites I read a lot and get a lot of information from and, get a lot of insight from just in regards to NBA news and stuff like that. And I came across there, and the one thing that it spoke about that I wanted to speak on today was, is it too early to be concerned is what it was talking about. Is it too early to be concerned about the health of Kawhi Leonard? And it asks about other issues and stuff like that regarding other teams as well. But of course, I wanted to speak on Kawhi Leonard. And is it time to, hit the panic meter or the panic button? And in my estimation, I would say no. Because now, of course, Sports Illustrated, who spoke on there, said it's definitely time to hit the panic meter because he's supposed to be playing and all other type stuff. And I definitely agree with that. Kawhi should be playing. He should be at least, getting some minutes per game. I mean, play through the stiffness a little bit and get himself going. And that's what he said that, that's where the frustration came from in Kawhi's camp, that he wants to play. He doesn't want to be sitting around, trying to nurse the injury or anything like that. But, there's some people believe that there could be some sabotaging going on. There's some people believe that Kawhi is not healthy 100%. And there's some people believe that, Kawhi wants to sit out games, because that's, the rap sheet on Kawhi. It's always been, if he's not 100% healthy, he never plays. And, when he's, 100% healthy, that's the only way he's going to be out there. So if that's what people have always known of him, that's what they're going to make out of the situation. Even though that might not necessarily be true, which I don't believe it to be true. I believe Kawhi really wants to play. I believe Kawhi wants to be out there. I believe he wants to be helping his teammates. And I believe he wants to build this chemistry because Kawhi knows one thing that a lot of players on the Clippers and a lot of Clippers fans don't know, that it takes more chemistry it takes more of a team that has chemistry to win a championship rather than a team that has talent. And the Clippers can beat you 99% of the time because of their talent, because they got Paul George, they got John Wall, they got so many other pieces besides Kawhi Leonard being the main guy. They got so many other guys who could really fill up the stat sheet. It's almost as if they can coast through the season and let Kawhi kind of rest up a little bit. And maybe that's kind of what I thought that the Clippers were trying to do. I feel like the Clippers are trying to, make sure Kawhi is 100% healthy because they can't miss this season. And a lot of people are not realizing that. They've been together 4 seasons, Kawhi and PG, and no championship. And the Clippers are looking at it like, with Steve Ballmer spending all this money on a new building, all these other things, they're just basically trying to cover their insurance plan by, having Kawhi sit out a little bit, if he's feeling any stiffness or if he's feeling any type of pain or anything like that. They're just being overly precautious, I think, because like I said, this is a season they have to win the championship. They have to at least bare minimum make a finals. And some people don't even agree with me when I say they bare minimum have to make a finals. A lot of people believe they have to win it or nothing. And I'm with you there too. I'm just saying that, for the Clippers' sake, if they made it to a finals, that is an accomplishment too, because they've never been to an NBA finals. Just as a couple seasons ago, they never been to a conference finals, but they made it for the first time. And that was a big accomplishment for them, even though it wasn't the ultimate thing to do. But it was a good accomplishment, even though it wasn't the ultimate accomplishment, which is winning a championship. So, getting to the finals is definitely another step in towards the right direction for the Clippers. And, hopefully they get there if they stay healthy enough to do it. I'm just not sure, because I know, Kawhi Leonard is going to be at his best at playoff time if he's healthy. I know Paul George, should be at his best at playoff time if he's healthy. But see, that's the problem with the Clippers. I mean, you look at last year. I mean, Paul George came back, played good at the end of the season. Kawhi was out the whole season due to injury. And then all of a sudden, Paul George gets COVID or gets sick in a big game against New Orleans where they really could have used him because they lost the first game against the Timberwolves and Patrick Beverly somehow, which the Clippers were favored to win that game. I don't know how they didn't win that game, but they didn't. And that's my thing with Paul George. He puts up great numbers in the regular season and all these other type things, but it only matters in the playoffs. And, he's had big playoff games before. I mean, he's definitely had many big playoff games in his career. And I just don't understand how he folds under pressure pressure like that. I mean, in a play-in tournament game, they shouldn't even had to play the New Orleans Pelicans. To me, they should have just beat the Timberwolves. I mean, hell, if Kawhi Leonard was healthy, I think they would have beat the Timberwolves. I don't think they would have even went to even play the New Orleans Pelicans in the second play-in tournament game. I don't even think it would have went that far. But see, this is my point. Regardless, the Clippers need both players on the floor. They need Kawhi and PG to take this to take it to the distance. You're not going to beat these teams in the West with just one of those guys. I mean, maybe Kawhi could do it, because if Kawhi is healthy, he could put a team on his back and win a championship. He's done it before, but it took everything out of him to do that, because it just takes a lot, and it's just very hard to do it because teams, they have more than one superstar now. It's not like back in the 90s where one guy pretty much runs the show and that's it, and no other, and everybody else is a bunch of role players. That's the last year I think we seen that was 2019 with Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors. That's the last year I think we're gonna see, one guy really just dominate like that and take it all the way to the finals and win. You see what I'm saying? When Giannis did it, with the Bucks, that's kind of different to me. You know what I'm saying? Because Chris Middleton, is a all-star player. He is an all-star. He's not a superstar player or anything like that, but he is an all-star type player, and he can really put up he can have a lot of monster games. He's had a lot of monster games himself. So when Chris Middleton is there, it's almost like they got a good 1-2 punch. What Kawhi had in Toronto was just himself for the most part, because Kyle Lowry is not really like a 1-2 punch. He's a good solid point guard, but he can't give you 24 or 25 points a game. He can't give you points like Paul George can give you. You see what I'm saying? So Kawhi, in his situation, he was the last to actually be a one-man show, I feel like, to really win a championship. So I mean, main point of emphasis is this team needs both players. This is not a league of where one guy is really going to dominate and win an NBA Finals. I don't think, not unless, maybe somebody like Luka does it or something like that, but I don't even think that's going to happen for him because, like I said, you just need more assistance, you know what I'm saying? And Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they're each other's assistants. They have enough to win a championship, but both of them have to be on the floor. And right now, it's so early in the season, and I've had some videos where, I spoke on this about Kawhi and everything like that, but at the same time, it's not good that he's not playing, but also it's not really time to hit the panic meter just yet because we're only like 2 weeks, or so into the season, 3 weeks into the season, and 3-4 weeks, whatever you want to say, into the season, and it's teams haven't even really got their feet wet in regards to really figuring out their strategy of what team they're going to be going down the stretch of the season and, getting into the season and, kind of really getting the ebbs and flows out the way and figuring out what they need to do to be a better team. It's almost like some teams are still in that filling out stage, fill some of their opponents out, see what their schedule looks like, see what they can do to counteract and see what strengths they have to really build upon as the season goes on. So if we're in that stage of the NBA or of the season, then I would say right now, according to Sports Illustrated's question, is it too early to be concerned? I would say it is a little early to be concerned because, as I said, there's no timetable for his return and Kawhi's return, but there isn't any, you're not hearing any issues in regards to anything major. It's more like stiffness. It's more like frustrated that he's not out there. He's playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3s, just getting some conditioning in, things like that. He's kind of, back to doing that a little bit. And, maybe in a couple weeks, he might actually be suited up, ready to go. So, I mean, it's really hard to say. Hopefully it's not nothing major, I would say, but the Clippers, they're known for keeping things under wraps. They really are. So, I mean, because I can remember last year or something like that, or year before last, it was, Kawhi Leonard is supposed to return in the playoffs or something like that, and he never did or something, but they were saying he was listed from day to day and all that stuff. So I definitely understand the Clippers are good at trying to keep things under wraps, but they're not going to be able to keep it under wraps for so long because, as I said, Paul George can have a great season. He can play very well. He could be in the MVP conversation. None of that matters to any Clippers fan because he's had MVP seasons before. He's played great before. He's been Western Conference Player of the Week before. He's done all this when he was on OKC. He done this when he was on the Indiana Pacers. You see what I'm saying? He's had great seasons, great outcomes before, but the ending result in regards to winning championships is something Paul George can't do. And that's something Paul George has not been able to do throughout his career because he's not really, that guy when it comes to, taking it to that level. And I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent to do it, but he's just never been able to do it so far up in his career. And this is the reason why they need Kawhi Leonard, because honestly, 2 seasons ago, when they lost to the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Suns went to the finals, if Kawhi was on that free throw line with those last 2 free throws that could have put the Clippers up and helped them win that first game, they wouldn't have been down 0-2 that series, and Kawhi would have took them to the finals because he just has a drive in him, I think, that Paul George doesn't. There's an engine that runs in Kawhi's system that doesn't run in Paul George's system. So it's like, to me, I like Paul George. I like him as the number 2 guy on this team. When Kawhi Leonard's there, when Kawhi Leonard's out, he needs to be the number 1, as he is, and as he's doing very good right now. You can't knock on him for what he's doing because he's doing great, and you got to praise that. But at the same time, it's all about winning championships. It's not about anything else. So I don't really give a damn what he does in the regular season. I don't really give a damn what Kawhi does in the regular season when he comes back and play. It's all about winning a championship, getting to the finals, bare minimum, as I always say, and putting yourself in position to be the best team in the league and win it all. That's what it's all about with the Clippers. And Paul George said that, Kawhi said that. I mean, that's what they're all saying. So really, people have to just kind of calm down a little bit and understand the regular season doesn't mean a damn thing for the Clippers. It's just a way for them to kind of build a little bit of chemistry, get used to each other on the court so they can figure out a way to be effective when they have to go into a 7-game series battle and figure out how to be the last team standing. That's what their season is predicated on. Not really about who can be MVP, who's scoring this much. I don't think nobody on the Clippers care about who's scoring the most. I don't really think they care about that because everybody has them set for championships. And when you have those type of aspirations, your mindset, everything has to be a lot different. So my point is, they got to find a way to get healthy. They got to find a way to be on the same page. They got to find a way to get Kawhi out there. And like I said, the conditioning that they're doing with Kawhi, as I said before, it doesn't matter. Like if they have to sit Kawhi out some games and get him in there some games, whatever they need to do to get him through this season, however they need to do, that's what they're going to do. Because like I said, they know they cannot have this franchise go through another disappointing season and the Clippers fans go through another disappointing season of, Paul George got hurt or Kawhi got hurt. They're doing everything in their power to keep these guys healthy as they can, because disappointing these fans is going to be very, very hard. And on top of that, building that new arena for the Clippers, the Intuit Dome and all that stuff, they want to go over there and be able to hang a banner as soon as they open the damn door of the building. You see what I'm saying? So it really can all fall into place for the Clippers, or it can all fall apart for the Clippers if they don't find a way to get to that championship. So I'm sticking to what I'm saying. It's too early, I believe, to really hit the panic button right now. It is a concern. Don't get me wrong. It is, because you definitely want to see him out there and you want to see him playing and you want to see the chemistry that they can build and how good this team could be. Because I think right now, you gotta understand, there's a lot of people that's really not even watching the Clippers right now because Kawhi Leonard's not there, because he's the main guy and he's the main ingredient along with Paul George that can make them a championship team. They're not looked at as a championship team just with Paul George. Paul George does a lot of great things in the regular season, but postseason has always been his issue. That's why Playoff P and Way Off P and all them names have surfaced the internet over the years about him, because playoff time is not when you can count on him the most. I mean, as I said a few minutes ago, no knock on Paul George, but damn, last year in the play-in tournament, all of a sudden he gets sick. And I'm not saying, anybody can get sick at any time. I'm not saying nothing bad about that. I'm just saying, damn, it seems like the most unopportune times something goes wrong with Paul George and it holds him back from taking his game to that next level. Honestly, you see what I'm saying? I can remember a couple seasons ago before that, You know, what happened in the bubble? Paul George didn't show up in the bubble. I mean, he didn't show up the last 3-4 games of that series against Denver. Everybody blamed Kawhi Leonard because he's the number one guy on the team. He took all the blame for it. But really, I mean, if Paul George showed up the way he would have, the way he does in the regular season, like the way you're seeing him play right now in the Western Conference Player of the Week, you know, all that stuff. If he shows up like that in the playoffs, they wouldn't have lost in the bubble. They would have played the Lakers in the bubble. They probably would have went on to win the championship if he plays the way he's supposed to. Now, he has redeemed himself some from that time, but this is my point. Then last year, they needed him against New Orleans Pelicans. He's a no-show. All of a sudden, like few hours before the game, this dude, you know, gets COVID. A few hours, like 3-4 hours, 5 hours before the game started. It was just really kind of like weird for that to even, how did it take? I mean, they didn't know. I mean, I don't know. It was really weird to me because like a few hours before the game, all of a sudden he just got COVID and sick. Nobody knew something was wrong with him the day before. I mean, that's another story for another day. But I'm just saying that they need each other. Both of them need to be on the floor, and they need Kawhi Leonard to win a championship. And that's all I'm saying. I don't think they can win a championship without Kawhi Leonard. And I don't think a lot of people believe that either because, you know, as I said, Paul George is good, but there's times where he plays like a number one, and there's times where he really plays like a number two. And I feel like he fits better as a number two because it gives him more freedom to play how he wants to and not really have to, you know, calculate the shots that he take. And because, you know, Paul George is a bad shot taker, but, you know, he can make those bad shots. That's just how his game is built once he's in a rhythm. So, as I said, they need Kawhi Leonard to win a championship. And that's just bottom line. They really do. And my thing is, I wouldn't push the panic button right now because, as I said, there's plenty of time in this season for Kawhi to get back, you know, get out there, play hard, and push and be the Kawhi Leonard everybody wants him to be. There's plenty of time for that. So right now I wouldn't be in panic mode. Now if we was at mid-season, I would say, okay, more of the panic mode would be there because it's mid-season and then before you know it, the season will be over and the playoffs is already here. So, I mean, that's different, but it's not that type of situation at the moment. So we're just going to, you know, let it ride out, see, you know, what we hear about Kawhi in the next couple weeks, see how he feels. Everybody say he's feeling good. He's progressing very well. He's doing what he's supposed to. Everything is going how they expect and how he expects so far. So far, so good. We'll just leave it there and, you know, see what the outcome is. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section. You check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, till next time.